Alright, mine's going.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the iTunes Fanboy Podcast. Unfortunately, Tab Pears, my co-host, cannot make it today because we normally record on Fridays, and today we had to record on Thursday. But there will be a makeup episode coming sometime next week that will have Tab Pears in it. So yeah, but for now we have Aaron with the Yellow Penguin here with us today. Hi, so
Hello.
you want to just get into the latest tech news?
Well, I can start about some old news. Tomorrow, Windows 11 was officially announced a year ago.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
that's
so
pretty
that's kind of exciting.
Alright, so you know how the EU is forcing Apple to switch to USB-C ports on the iPhone and all the Apple's products? Well, now the US
Oh yeah. Yep.
is making a bill about that, but here's the catch. All the only senators
What's the
that have
catch?
approved it so far are all at least 72 years old. Which means that they likely don't know what they're actually doing. Because, as we all know, there's going to be
Oh,
a
I'm
better
sure they
formula
don't.
come along someday.
Oh yeah. Everything comes and goes. Like micro USB, that was
Yeah,
the
like
hit thing, and now look at us now with
MacBook
USB
has
C.
4 USB-C ports and 1 headphone jack. Yeah, again, you're...
At least actually have four. I only have two.
Again, you have a MacBook Air, I have a MacBook Pro. My MacBook Airs, which I have 3,
Yep.
but only 2 work. Those all have 2 USB ports.
Yeah. Honestly, I like the MacBook Air. I feel like it was a good. I mean, honestly, at the beginning, it was when it started, it was a good concept, but it was a horrible. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, yeah, it was a horrible execution, the first one. But over the years, like with the 2011, 2010, it got a lot better, and here we are now with the M2. And personally, I prefer the M1 design of the Air because it's so different, and obviously change is needed, but like it gets rid of the iconic Air like bottom case thing where it goes from like thick to slim. I miss that already, but
Yeah.
change is obviously needed every once in a while.
You know how Apple just released Apple's new MacBook Pro that they just released? Yeah.
The
Some
M2
configurations of
MacBook
it
Pro.
are already delayed
Yeah, that
until
one.
August.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like I saw that on Twitter from someone. I'm like, oh wow, how did that already happen? And yeah, at least you get a model. Like I'm sure it's the base model that isn't
Apple
delayed,
products
but
are so
still.
short right now. There's so many shortages on Apple products that when I got my iPad Air 5, I actually looked at an in-person retailer first before I went to Apple's website because if Apple's website would have taken 2 months. And I'm kind of glad I got when I did because it's still running its launch
Oh yeah.
iPadOS version 15.4, which is pretty cool.
You know the funny thing about that is that I have an iPad and my iPhone. Both I got when they were on iOS 13. My iPad I got for Christmas 2019. That came with iOS 12. I'm pretty sure 12.3.1 if I remember correctly. I don't actually remember, but I immediately updated that thing to 13. But if I didn't, I could sell that thing on eBay and make a little bit of profit. Probably, I don't know. It's the max. It's like the best iPad Mini you could have gotten at the time. Like the maximum storage, cellular data, blah blah blah. And then my phone, I think, or so my old phone was an iPhone 6. So obviously at 12, I'm like, oh, I want to experience iOS 13 so badly. So I got my 10R, which is giving me issues now with not the battery, but like actual calling and stuff like that. So that's a problem. But that's a I mean, I have AT&T, so I don't know if it's an AT&T thing or an iPhone thing or what,
iPhone's a
but
smaller thing.
it's probably an iPhone thing. But I don't. I mean, I. If so, my issue with my iPhone is like when someone tries to call me on their end, it rings once and says, and then gets straight to voice and gets sent to voicemail without me doing anything. So, and then when I receive the call, in my perspective, like let's say my phone's on my desk, it'll ring for like barely
Yeah.
more than a
My
second,
grandmother's having a different
hangs up,
issue,
just like that.
so that might be an AT&T issue, but I'd still recommend getting an upgrade anyways, just because.
That's my guess. Oh, my phone's off contract. I think my contract ended last month, so I'll probably wait for iPhone
The iPhone
14
14 too, especially
because it's right around the corner.
especially with its new supposedly awesome cameras and its satellite connectivity.
Yeah. I also heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not gonna jump the gun saying it's true or not because obviously we have to wait for Apple to release in like October, September, whatever. But I've heard that apparently the regular 14 may have the same CP or the same chip as like iPhone 13, which I personally don't think that's gonna happen. That doesn't like Apple would do. They've never done it. I mean, to be fair, I was. Well, the five. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, you're right about that.
The only reason why I think that Apple might do it is because is to save on is to be able to compensate for the cost of the satellite connectivity while still keeping the cost the same. But the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, obviously they're gonna have new CPUs.
Those are gonna have new CPUs.
They'd probably burn down.
They'll go batshit crazy at Apple.
In fact,
Oh, I am sure, definitely.
If I lived anywhere close enough, but I live on the eastern half of the United States, so.
Yeah. I live in SoCal, so not in Apple. The part's more in the Bay Area, so it's like a couple hours away. It's like about 6-7 hours away. I really don't know, but yeah, and honestly, I kind of remember last year with the Apple Watch, there was rumors the Series 7 is going to have a whole new design, but it didn't. I mean, at least
like how the iPhone 13 was going to have the satellite connectivity, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of funny because, like, I know a lot of, like, at least, like, close people or, like, people I know, like, on the internet, whatever. A lot of them jumped the gun for iPhone 13 this year compared to, like, the 12. A lot of people jumped the gun this year.
My dad's using a 13 Pro. I'm obviously using my iPhone 11 Pro Max, which I got as a hand-me-down from my mom.
Yeah. The best phone in my family or like my parents, like sisters, whatever. The best phone is right now. My mom has an iPhone 12 in purple because her iPhone 10. Apple is having a replacement program on it, and we didn't know about it. And the way that replacement program works is, if you bought a phone within certain dates, I think it was like sometime mid 2018, which is when my mom got the phone. The screen would not respond to touch, or would respond to touch without you doing anything, and that's what that phone is doing. It's very major. So she upgraded, and now I have that phone, and that's my iOS 16 beta testing phone because I really don't care if it breaks or not.
Yeah, I didn't beta test iOS 16 this year because it was honestly a disappointing update. Like, it didn't bring anything new that I needed.
Yeah. The only, like, it's kind of same with macOS Ventura. Like, with macOS Ventura, there is nothing I remember from the keynote that actually catches my interest. Like, there's nothing I actually remember from the keynote. iPhone.
To maybe come to macOS Snow Leopard, but never did. Yeah.
Oh wow. So that's like 13 years ago.
On my 2010 Mac Pro.
Oh. Oh, definitely need to watch that one. My friend, a couple years ago, 2018, her school was upgrading from really old 2007, 2006 MacBooks to iPads for the school district. So at the end of the year, they let her keep her MacBook, and so she gave that to me. And she's like, get the data off here. And so the thing had overheating issues. I don't know. It fixed itself randomly, but I accidentally wiped it on accident when I was trying to do a restore. I didn't have the discs, so this is during the time that Apple was still selling Snow Leopard discs. We bought one, and I lost the disc. I have no idea where it is. No, the hard drive died, and then I misplaced it one day. So.
That's the blacker version. I posted
Oh,
about it on
lucky.
Twitter.
No, hers was a white one.
The only thing is that the hinge on it creaks, but other than that, it's awesome. It was like $70. It came with a charger, and as we all know, chargers can go for like $60 alone.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. I still have my MagSafe charger. That I did not get rid of or lose, luckily. So next time I get another Mac, if I ever do, like a 2010 or whatever, I also have a charger. My personal favorite Macs of all time is the 2012 Retina, or not Retina, the
I have a
unibody. Those are my
2012
favorites.
But the logic for it died, and I should have suspected it because even though it's official maximum Mac OS is Mac OS Catalina, I can never get to go above Sierra. Yeah, it was such a weird glitch, and I remember
Oh, really?
whole community trying to help me solve the issue, and it ultimately couldn't get solved, and it died. So that's really sad because it was the 15-inch model. I would upgrade it to 60 gigabytes of RAM, a 480 gigabyte SSD,
Ooh.
and it had an i7 in it. It was the highest end model you could get.
Oh, that's like
20.
that's really unfortunate. And honestly, I'm gonna be a bit salty if there's like a crap ton of new features for Apple Watch Series 8 because I literally just got an Apple Watch Series 7 this year. It's not the best, but it's like stainless steel, cellular, stuff like that. So I'm gonna be really salty if that Series 8 is like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Because like you spend so much money on the best of the best, and then it gets replaced not even a month later.
I'll be upgrading from my Apple Watch Series 5 to the Series 8 this fall because my Series 5 it has a bad battery on it and the screen is very scratched.
Yeah. So while we're on the subject of Apple, how about we talk about Apple support? Because oh boy, I have an experience with Apple support.
You guys can have a whole conversation about that.
Oh god. This lady, oh my god, she was so rude. So the sad part, it was the worst day possible to get support because this is the day Apple services went down. iCloud, music, news, like all Apple. I think this was like sometime in March. I think it was March 28th, if I remember correctly. But all of Apple services were down, and I was trying to get information on my Mac because no, it was March 21st. But on my Mac, my battery is having problems. It was lagging. The battery issue just resolved itself one day. The lagging sort of resolved itself, but I'm probably going to send it in still because I don't trust it, honestly. I've already sent it in twice, so hey, maybe I'll get a replacement, which honestly I would not say no to because this computer is falling apart, basically. But the experience with this is that because Apple was down, I have Apple Care Plus, I couldn't get on the Apple Care Plus line, which means I had to wait on hold for like 20 minutes, which was annoying on itself. But when I finally got connected, the person on the line treated me like I was an idiot with my Mac, saying, you realize the computer has a battery. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't solve my battery problem if it's draining while being plugged in. And she would acknowledge that. All she acknowledged that I kept my MacBook plugged in, even though I unplug it. She's like, you need to let it go down to 20%, then plug it back in, blah, blah, blah. I did that for like a week. That didn't resolve anything, and basically she was treating me like an idiot. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I just hung up, basically. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that kind of service from Apple. I did not get her
No.
name, so
Okay.
no.
Well, you should ask for their. We should ask for their
Yeah.
names.
Oh yeah. For the name, yeah. Another Apple experience. I was calling again. I was doing a chat support, asking the same thing a few days later, and then they're like, "Okay, can we call you?" I'm like, "Sure, call my cell phone." They call my cell phone. I'm like, "Hi, blah blah blah." All right, let me transfer you to the senior advisor. Do you want to know what they do? In the middle of me being on hold, they
How do
hang
they know
up
your
and call our
landline?
landline. I have no idea. But then my dad answered and he hung up because he thought it was a scam. So I'm like, dang it. And I gave up trying to call Apple for like 2 months. I'm like, whatever. I'll get it fixed after my school ends. And then a few weeks ago, I called them back and I was on the phone for like an hour and a half. And I finally got to a senior advisor and he was basically telling me I didn't reinstall macOS properly. I'm like, how? He's like, you didn't erase the data. But I'm like saying, if my data was gone and I had the full 250 gigs free, what did I do wrong? So I haven't done this yet, but the guy wants me to reinstall my Mac for like the fifth time. Like I'm on my fourth installation of Mac OS since I got the machine like not even a year
Yeah,
ago.
that's pretty. You should make a
So
whole video on your Apple support experience, because
oh, I'm gonna when this is done with when this is all done, I'm definitely gonna. And then even better, my Windows computer, which is my old HP laptop, the Core i5 8th gen, blah blah blah, that just broke last month. Also, like the fan died, so it doesn't spin up anymore. Period. So the computer now overheats, so it's unusable. So nothing's working anymore. But
yeah.
at least the Mac started working again, so there's
Again, if
something.
Tab pairs were here, you guys could do a whole independent episode about that, because Tabby Paris has done a million YouTube videos
Hey,
about that.
maybe I'll come back another day. And the worst part, this is my first device I got Apple Care Plus on. No other of my devices have Apple Care. This is my Mac is the first one. And this is just awful because the first day, I have an Apple Store near me, so luckily I could just walk in. The first day, they're saying, okay, we'll reinstall macOS for you. See if that fixes it. And they're like, don't reinstall from Time Machine. I'm like, got it. Don't do Time Machine. Okay, I come back. Still happens. I tried to drop my data like they told me to. I come back again saying the same thing happened. And they're like, okay, this lady was so much nicer at the Genius Bar. She's like, okay, I understand. This is really stupid, basically. So she sent it out, and my email said that they replaced the logic board and the battery and stuff and screen. Do you want to know what they didn't do? Replace the logic board. They didn't even reinstall macOS. I got it back, I booted it up, and it had my information. I'm like, I thought they were going to wipe it. And I'm like, dang it, because I already signed out of iCloud on it. I removed it from all my devices like Google, Discord, whatever. I removed it from those sites. So the computer's freaking out now, being like, why is nothing working? I'm like, I thought they were going to wipe it. But they should have wiped it, honestly. But that's how I knew they didn't replace the logic board immediately. But hey, they gave me a fresh battery. But the battery's worse now. I'm going to check right now. The battery health isn't, well, it could be worse. I think it's like 91. Let me check. So that I'm resending it again. The battery maximum capacity is at 91, and the battery, it was manufactured over in like 2021, but it didn't have any charge cycles until November. So, but what I'm definitely gonna do to take advantage of Apple Care when the Apple Care expires in like 2024, I'll ship it in and be like, hey, replace my battery just to take advantage of Apple support one last time.
Yeah, so
Might as well.
yeah. And so on the next bit of Apple news, Apple is dominating the ARM-based computer market with a 90% market share.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love M1,
The M1
honestly.
I've never used an Apple Silicon Mac besides demo stores, so I can't really say how good their performance is, but you and Tab Paris would probably argue about that, because Tab Paris does not think the M1 is powerful enough.
Honestly, the M1 Air can do anything I throw at it except for virtual machines, which obviously it can't do that. So that's not really ARM's fault. It's just that's not how virtualization is made.
Yeah.
And don't get me started trying to do boot camp with Windows. I've seen like ways you can get it to work using like parallel desktop. I know VMware Fusion is working on an ARM version for the M1 Max and M2s. However, the ARM version of Windows is 11 gigabytes to download compared to like the regular 4 gigs for the regular ISO.
And not only that, but Windows is a pretty terrible operating system, honestly.
That is exactly why I switched. It's so buggy. I have so many problems. I had so many problems with it.
Well, it costs like $130 to activate Windows. Guess how much it costs to activate
God, it's so
macOS,
stupid.
Android, and iOS?
Nothing, because it's included with your computer.
How much does Microsoft Office cost again?
Pretty sure it's $150, and that's a one-time thing. So if you reinstall, you lose it. And because I do online school, or I do what was called independent study, that's how my school called it. I'm not doing it anymore next year. But because half the assignments were on Word, and like Pages couldn't handle it, the website couldn't handle it, Google Docs couldn't handle it. I was forced to spend $10 a month on 365.
Yeah.
So I'm still keeping that subscription. Oh, actually, speaking of, I think it renews today. If it hasn't already. It's funny because actually sometimes I check in the middle of they do it like in the middle of the night. Like one of the charges was at 11 p.m.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. And again,
Yeah.
Guess how
Yeah,
much
they're charging
Pages
tonight.
costs? Guess how much Google Docs costs?
Nothing.
And I know Microsoft Office is free. But
It's
that's
free.
only if you do it through the web, and me too.
I hate the web version so much.
When I tried it out, it lagged so much, and it was running the desktop version of Safari, so it's essentially running a mini web browser, and it couldn't run, and it could not run Word in the web.
So speaking of iPad, the iPad 7, I don't know if you've had this personally, but my friend who had an iPad 7 was forced to get an iPad 8 because her iPad 7, the battery is so unstable. She said like it takes a long time to charge, barely would even charge, period. I'm like, is it your break? She's like, no, I've tried other chargers, it doesn't do anything. And she's like, the charger doesn't work. And like I've seen a TikTok on it with the exact same thing. And basically the battery, it takes forever to charge, but it drains really quickly. So has that happened to you with your iPad 7?
Slowly, but it's charged pretty. It's not my iPad. Nope. The issue. You want to know what the issue I had with my iPad 7th generation was? Well, I actually had two.
What'd you get?
Number one, the Wi-Fi antenna on it broke. It didn't break, but it got weak.
Oh, so that makes it useless, period.
So I would have to restart my iPad in order to get it to connect again.
Wow, that instantly makes it unusable.
And I know people might say, well, it's because I never updated the iPad, but that's not the issue, because it didn't happen when I first got the iPad. Back in Christmas of 2019. That started happening in June of 2020.
That is exactly what Apple tells you to do. They're like, make sure to update your Mac because for some reason updating will solve your life problems of your battery not working. Speaking of Apple support, this is the last thing I actually remember. And so I was saying, they're like asking, what version is your Mac on? It was like one version out of date, like barely out of date, and they're like, okay, you need to reinstall your computer. Over a software update. They're like, nope, you need to reinstall your computer. How does that make any kind of sense? I can software update fine. It didn't show up, but I'm sure if I rebooted the Mac, it would have fixed it. But like, nope, you need to reinstall. I'm like, okay, no, I'm done with you. Thank you, goodbye. Basically, I'm like, Why do I need to reinstall over a software update? Like, please tell me that logic. Oh, your computer won't update. Time to reinstall it.
Is that they're trying to make it, is that they're trying to hope that people aren't going to notice that won't actually fix the issue. Because a lot of non-techie people, like the senators who probably the senators who signed the bill to make USB-C mandatory,
Yep.
they probably they probably won't know that that's not the issue.
Yeah. What do you think Apple's gonna do? Do they need to go portless or USB-C? I think they're just gonna go USB-C. Honestly, I don't see them doing portless for at least another 10 years because how are you supposed to do data syncing without using wireless charging? You know, how is that gonna work? I really only charge that's why I only charge my phone at night because I use a wireless charging cord and it is so slow. Wireless charging on even if you have like a fast charging, it isn't fast because iOS isn't that optimized for it yet. Unlike like Samsung's for example, those Samsung did a good job, and I'm not a huge fan of Samsung, but I gotta praise them for that. They did a decent job
Yeah.
on that.
It's pretty good. Did you know that the iPhone? Do you remember the original iPhone 14 rumored designed to be more like the iPhone 4 and 4S? Well, now it's rumored that the iPhone 15 will be getting that design change instead.
What's your personal opinion on the pill and hole design that's been rumored? I personally hate it. Obviously, that's more me. It looks ugly, and I really don't see why they would do it for just like 0.1% of like screen back. I personally don't see that happening, but like I can understand why they would do it, but that's something I hope does not come true.
Buy the iPhone 13 Pro over the 14 Pro because even though the 14 Pro will bring satellite connectivity, which will help as he does live in a rural area, he hates the eye hole as it so much.
Eye hole. I mean, hey, maybe they'll go back to the iPhone 7 design. Probably not, but hey. Actually, no, because they're doing it the SE. Never mind. Yeah, but hey, it's kind of funny because like now they're like flip-flopping with the Mac now getting the notch. Apple, honestly, it's it's kind of so. This is kind of shifting the subject of Samsung a little bit. I was gonna say something about Apple, but I realized this. Samsung is running out of color ideas. Want to know what I saw in like one of the Galaxy A series? Want to know what the color was called? Not black, but awesome black. Awesome black. Want some awesome black on your phone? I laughed at that for like 10 minutes. Like, want some awesome black? Oh, this is a Galaxy A53. Oh, Jesus. Where's the other one? I saw another one. It was something. Let's see. Well, at least most of the Samsungs are just called black. I mean, you got some that are. I mean, want some awesome black still?
It's like Google's not pink color on some of their devices.
Yeah. It's Samsung's just trying to be a bit quirky and cool. That's all it is.
In their high-end tablet, and yet they're the company.
Of course they did.
The company that ran the ad with the family with the notch haircut.
2017. Yep.
To pay those actors to wear those embarrassing hairstyles.
Who knows? And then remember when they made an ad about saying everything's included for your Galaxy, including the charger, and then they took that down because they stopped including the charger.
Don't forget that
the next year.
Apple removing the headphone jack many times.
Oh, jeez. Oh, look at the headphone jack being gone now on Samsung's.
Yeah.
The headphone jack now is gone on Samsung's. Honestly, I hate One UI. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like One UI. I personally prefer Samsung experience. I mean, TouchWiz is a mess on its own. No one likes TouchWiz, honestly. But my favorite Samsung home layout thing, whatever you want to call it, my favorite is Samsung experience. And honestly, as much as like people clown on Samsung, they do have some good stuff. Like they make great TVs. They make
I've
good
actually found
appliances, and I'm not saying
better
great
TV
because they're not the best.
appliances.
Oh, well, TV, it really depends. Cause like I know the newer ones, someone I know just got one and they hate it, but mine's a 2018, so it doesn't have like the newest layout. But I like it personally because I mean every TV nowadays has ads. You can't control that every single TV. But the way Samsung is doing it on that kind of TV, you have almost any single app on the Samsung store. I mean, the one thing I don't like, you have to have I was forced to create a Samsung account to download Paramount Plus. But like they don't it doesn't have bad it has great app support, but like I know there's like some bad but there's good and bad things
Yeah,
about
it's like
Samsung
most people
TVs,
call
but
it.
I feel like the best brands you can get for a TV is probably Samsung and LG.
Yeah, Samsung does have ads in their TVs, which is pretty annoying.
I mean, so does LG, Vizio. Don't get me started with Fire TVs. Those have ads all over the place. I mean, I have a fire, I have a Fire Stick because I really can't afford 100 and whatever bucks for an Apple TV. My Fire Stick is something I need to do, but the ads are crazy. Like half the screen. Oh, you want to open Netflix? Nope, got to find it out of these hundreds of sponsored ad
You
apps.
might as well just AirPlay your phone.
Oh, I have an AirPlay. My Fire Stick. I got an app in like 2014 with my first one, the first gen. I got this AirPlay app, and oh my god, it's a lifesaver.
Me too.
I love using AirPlay. It's so nice. And originally, when I got my MacBook, I didn't have a dongle to plug in HDMI, so I went and got my old Fire Stick, plugged it into my TV, which I use as a monitor, and I was able to AirPlay that. And that's basically your way to using either AirPlay or using Sidecar. That's the way to bypass the one display limit on M1.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I know on the iPad that happens, but I'm not sure about
Yeah, it's
Apple TV.
pretty funny. So, yeah. So in some good news, the iPhone 15 Pros maybe go to one hole punch. And that the iPhone 16 will remove all cutouts in the display.
Yeah, I know Apple can definitely do that because look at the Z Fold 3, I'm pretty sure. They're able to do that, so I'm sure Apple will be able to. And honestly, even though like there's some stuff I don't like about Apple, I've been Apple like, or my parents at least have been Apple since at least 2011. There's no way we're switching back to Android, and personally, I've used both. I like stock Android 12, but the things that people say Androids are better on, like the customization, I really don't care about that. I don't care if my phone to be an art gallery. If I can open apps,
Yeah, exactly.
that's all I really care about. Which is, I don't get, 'cause a lot of people try to claim, and like, obviously, sure, there's like some aspects where like iOS is better than Android, Android's better than iOS, like RCS, Apple, add RCS, we need that.
Need RCS
But like,
I actually don't think we need RCS because
for some
Or I
people,
don't think Apple will add it because it's a Google technology, and that would be a huge.
oh, I'm sure they won't add it, but it would be nice
that would
to
be a
add.
big
They can
risk
actually,
to security because as we all know, Google takes people's privacy very, very, very seriously. Yeah, they definitely.
oh,
take people's
definitely.
privacy seriously. They've never. Chrome does not also install malware onto your computer.
No, and Apple just has horrible security. It's the
Apple's isn't
worst.
as great as they advertise it, but Google security is just flat out bad.
Dude. Honestly, I would trust my information. I would trust my social security number on an Apple device compared to a Microsoft device.
Security number on a Google device. Yes.
Want the honest opinion? Probably, because I need to save it one way or another. But if I had another choice, like encrypting on iCloud, using the file, whatever it's called, the Windows BitLocker, I'd prefer that. But if I only choice was Google, then that I honestly would. I mean, what's Google gonna do? Track me down and make fraudulent purchases? I don't have a credit card.
I don't have a credit card either, and I never will have one. Because credit cards are
But
very stupid
it's
personally.
yeah, want to go in debt? Just get a credit card and buy a car.
Go in debt? Okay. Yeah, like I can understand some people have to go in debt to do things like buy a house and a car, but like
Yeah.
credit cards are so stupid, and the only way that people actually, and the only reason why a lot of people use them is to raise their credit scores. And
I mean, I have seen those like debit cards that like apparently are credit cards. I don't know how that works, but it seems a bit sketchy. I don't know how those work, and I don't like that. I don't get them.
This whole credit card credit score system is very stupid too.
You miss one payment of $1, boop, you drop 100. You drop 100 credit. It's
Yeah.
really stupid.
No, yeah, and the score isn't out of 100 too, like you would expect it to be.
No idea. Honestly, I don't know how credit. I have no idea how credit scores work, and I honestly don't need to know until I actually need one, and
Yeah.
hope it won't be for a long time.
I can get why you do need it. A lot of times the banks won't offer you loans until you get a credit score, but if you have a bad credit score, but as long as you make all your payments on time and such, then you could probably find a way
Yeah.
around it. And besides, I'm sure there are some banks that probably don't care about credit scores. But
Oh yeah.
speak,
Speaking of banks and spam texts, it's really funny because I've gotten a bunch of spam texts. Apparently, my quote unquote Wells Fargo account's been hacked. Nope, not even my parents have Wells Fargo. I've gotten messages about Chase. No one has Chase either.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, my family
It's-
uses a local bank, so so I know there's no
Yeah.
way anybody's gonna believe that.
Oh yeah. And then a couple weeks ago, the old person my phone number. I don't know if this is them or a hacker or what, but someone tried getting back into their Facebook account. I kept on getting these texts from Facebook in Spanish. So I'm guessing whoever owned my phone number last spoke Spanish. But they're like, "Here's your Facebook reset code." I'm like, "What?" Because this is 10 p.m. by the way. This was like in the middle of the day. It wasn't like early. This was in the middle of the night, basically. I'm like, why am I getting texts from Facebook? But hey, at least I want to get Facebook using my phone number now.
Yeah, as we all know, Facebook only does good things with people's data.
Duff does not sell them to earn money whatsoever.
Yeah, we make a lot of jokes about Meta on this podcast.
Oh, Meta. That name is so stupid.
Metaverse is stupid.
I don't think that's not gonna be the future for at least another 10 years, at least probably.
Because Sony tried to do a similar thing and it failed.
I really don't think it's. You also gotta think of the people who just legit their bodies can't handle virtual reality for more than like half an hour or like more than 10 minutes even, and like Facebook ads. Like sure, like Facebook has some good I'm not calling the company good, but they have like some good apps. Like WhatsApp is amazing. I love WhatsApp. You have Instagram, but like basically Facebook itself is a huge no. I don't like actual
I
Facebook.
hate that app too because it's mostly for old people. You know, it's an old people app, and unfortunately,
And same with Instagram. Half the content there is just re-uploaded from either YouTube or TikTok or some other social media. Really.
I know that's what I hate about Insta. That's why I get so sick of seeing on Instagram. And even Meta has gotten sick of that. But the worst social app of all time is probably gotta be TikTok.
Uh, I mean, I have TikTok, but like, it's really awful. The moderation sucks. People are toxic on there. Don't get me started with the 18 plus people trying to get you to click links because TikTok does not do a good job of enforcing those links. Like, you can't control. I mean, Twitter is much worse because Twitter actually allows that kind of stuff. But like, there's not good moderation on
Yeah, like everybody's
TikTok,
so
really.
mean on TikTok, and it's becoming a place for old people too.
I did not know that. I don't think old people would understand half the stuff is even on TikTok.
Or even just, yeah, TikTok is just a bad app. And what's even worse is that it's being used by China. Is that how it's being used by its company, by its base country, which is China. Yeah, it's using
Yep,
the data.
using the data.
It's using the data. What it's supposedly doing is, I'm not an expert, so don't rely on me for this information, but supposedly China wants to invade Taiwan, and so, and the U.S. obviously wants to keep Taiwan safe. So China is trying to distract the U.S. via TikTok, so that way they think we won't know.
Sorry, China, but TikTok is mostly used by teenagers, not people in the military.
Yeah.
Nice try though. Try Facebook instead. Maybe look at someone else at Facebook. Oh wait, you don't own Facebook. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean Facebook and Instagram do have plenty of people in the military that are actually romance scammers. Yeah, so let's stop talking about that and let's talk about the iPad Pro 6th generation. What's rumored to bring. It's rumored to bring. It's unknown whether it will have MagSafe and or a glass back.
I wonder how that's gonna work. It's on it. The base is already 11 inches. So what? They're gonna make like a jumbo sized MagSafe the size of an iPhone.
Yeah, probably. I can understand.
No, an Apple, yeah. No, an Apple, yes.
Amazon is coming out with wireless charging on their Kindle Fires, and obviously, if Kindle Fires have a feature that iPads don't, and Kindle Fires are so much cheaper, guess what happens to iPads?
They're like, it's like $30. Yeah, I mean, on iPads, literally, iPad. There's no denying. Even if you're a huge Android fan, iPads are the best at making tablets. There's no denying that.
So, did you know that I found a tablet in April back at a used tech market for only $12?
Yeah, that one was the. I think you said it had Android 5 or did I have 6?
It's some rebranded Chinese garbage that Walmart was selling people in 2017. It's from 2017, and it was $12.
$12 probably cost like $20 to produce. So basically, they're taking a loss on that tablet. Period.
Again, this was obviously used, but funny enough, I wonder how much it was used exactly, because
probably not much.
It's so bad that I could not get it to connect to anything online because the time refused to change.
So going off the subject of that, I actually have a really old Samsung tablet. It's on Verizon. It's one of those like really cheap, like, hey, yeah, since you're on Verizon, add a line, get a free tablet. It's one of those kind of tablets. That thing is stuck on Jelly Bean 4.1, and I'm making a video on that probably next week. I don't know, but there no apps work anymore. Not even YouTube updates anymore. You can't even download YouTube actually.
Again, I'm sure there are probably lots of ways to get around that, because
oh yeah, you can install APKs, but like, it's really unfortunate, honestly, because I actually was gonna actually try out that tablet again because it was in like a storage for like over 2 years. I barely used it, and now it's unusable, unfortunately. But back to the subject of the iPad Pro rumors. I honestly, the glass. I honestly, that would make sense if you're paying $1,000 for an iPad. I would say I can see Apple doing that. However, with that in mind, they do need to make better cases instead of just having like the smart folio. I mean, the Magic Keyboard case is honestly good, but like maybe it can be like a bit higher quality. Maybe that can help if it does come in glass, because the glass is glass, obviously. So
Yet again, that would probably raise the price to like $350 for the 12.9-inch keyboard, because the price is already $300. Why not make a keyboard more expensive, an iPad keyboard more expensive than their budget iPad? Yeah, why
yeah,
not make a keyboard that's almost as much as a brand new iPad? That makes perfect sense.
I know, right? Screw those cheap Bluetooth keyboards that can do the exact
Well,
same
actually,
thing.
those cheap Bluetooth keyboards do have some input lag,
Oh
so
well. Oh yeah,
it's
I
not
know
so
they do, but like
it's not so I. Apple keyboards
bad.
aren't bad. Like, I have one for my iPad 7th generation and my iPad Pro
Mm-hmm.
now at 7 inches, and they are pretty good. But they're the price.
And then you got the magic, and then they Apple even sells like the smart folio for an iPad, and yet like honestly, like the Magic Keyboard's better. So I don't like those like even like the Logitech case for example. I don't like those. My school iPad, which I no longer have because I had to return it this year. It was an iPad 8. It was one of those Logitech combo 2 things, whatever they're called. The keyboard was decent on it. It's better than like the old iPad like 6th gen cases. It's better, but like it's not good. It's not clicky. It's
Yeah,
basically membrane, and it's not a good typing experience. I honestly typing on the iPad. It's like almost a bit faster. Like I've typed good on the iPad, but like oh gosh, honestly.
yeah, I understand.
Like, not you can kind of see why Apple's like making you pay a premium for that kind of
Yeah, I
case.
can understand too. I can understand too. So there's
Yeah,
now on the next subject. There is rumors for a 12-inch MacBook Pro to maybe come later this year. Yeah,
MacBook Pro,
like the
really?
12-inch PowerBooks.
Hmm. Oh yeah, PowerBooks. Those. Remember. I feel like what Apple should do personally. This is my personal opinion. I feel like bring back the MacBook, but like give it an upgrade. Obviously, like give it a Core or give it M1.
Maybe M2.
Honestly, M1, M2 would yeah, but like bring back the MacBook. I know there's a bunch of people who like the MacBook, but like give it a redesign. Don't give it don't give it butterfly
Yeah.
keyboard.
The Butterfly keyboard, as we all know, is an amazing keyboard that works very, very reliably.
Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate part now was macOS Ventura. I think just only to 2017. I think there's only one capable model of Ventura, and who knows if they're gonna drop
They're
that
pro-
next year.
my guess is
Honestly.
that they're gonna make next year's macOS will probably require a 2019 MacBook later, based on their pattern,
Mm-hmm.
because they're clearly rushing to kill all Intel Macs, which is why I'll probably have to upgrade my MacBook Pro, as mine is 60-inch 2019.
Yeah. I get the change of like M1, but I don't think or Intel needs to be phased out this quickly, because oh, we're screwing you over for spending over $2,000 on a MacBook that's only 3 years old.
Yeah, because this MacBook, when my parents purchased it for my birthday present, it is the upgrade model of 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. It cost $2,380 or somewhere around that range. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really expensive.
Yeah, but then like it's funny because I started saving up for my MacBook back in like July of 2020, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend an extra bucks on a Core i5 because I don't want a Core i3 laptop. But then, hey, M1 came out, so I gotta save myself a hundo bundo by getting what's it called, M1. And I don't regret getting M1. And I don't want, and with my personal issue with my laptop, I don't think this is M1's issue. I think it's just my Mac has a defect from the factory. So by that, I'm not saying M1 Macs are bad with my personal issues with my laptop. I think it's just a defect from the factory,
Yeah.
personally. Because I've heard similar things from like two other people, but nothing as bad as what I have. But so hopefully Apple will just solve it and but software updates.
Do you know,
But
so do you know
yeah.
that the iPhone? So I'm sure you know at this point the iPhone 14 will bring satellite connectivity. Well, unfortunately, their satellite texts are going to have a 50-character limit. That's worse than Twitter.
Don't get me started with Twitter text. You need to make serious posts. Nope, gotta do 25 posts or use tweet longer, which I really have not seen anyone using like over a year now.
Yeah, like that's so. Yeah, like Twitter has a 280-character limit and it's bad. Say nothing about a 50-character limit. That's. I can understand the satellite technology is expensive, but can't you just?
Glad you kept the door open in case of burglars.
Was that one of your relatives? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that? Yeah, that's. What was I saying?
Something about restaurant Twitter
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah, that's so. Like, you're not gonna get any help done with it. I understand the satellite technology on the iPhone 14 is going to be expensive, but they could just charge people for it, like they used to do with cell phones.
Uh-huh.
Like, just charge people, Apple. Like, you won't even be able to make satellite calls.
Exactly.
Apple's limiting it so much.
Yeah, and also I'm sorry to say, but we gotta cut it short soon. So let's talk about like one more
Alright,
subject.
so now I have another question. So how did you get interested in technology and specifically Apple?
So honestly, this started like years ago with like back in my old school. I just saw like a bunch of teachers had like the MacBooks, and I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but like me and the computer lab teacher, we were pretty like good because I always go like at lunch and stuff. I'd mess with the computers, Mac Minis, MacBooks, etc. And so that got me interested in Apple. Period. But with actual technology, just YouTube, honestly, just watching different creators got
And
got
how
it
did you
working.
get interested in YouTube?
YouTube, honestly, it was just something that it was just like it was a must-have in like 2016. I just wanted it, and I was trying different things, and I came on to tech. I made a video on it, and then my friends were like, "Go ahead, upload it," and then from that's basically where we are today with just technology.
You're funny enough one of the few guests to have a channel that's older than mine. Because my channel started in July 2016. Yours started in May of 2016.
May. Mm-hmm. Just a whole 2 months.
Yeah, so I'm just going to... Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and remove all the old topics to save them for next week's episode.
Yep.
And so I just have to delete all the
Yeah, that's
old
fine.
topics that way. I can save them for the next awesome episode. Obviously, I'm not going to be asking you how you got interested in tech and YouTube. Alright, so now with that out of the way, do you want to roll the outro now?
Sure. Hope you guys enjoyed listening or watching, whatever you're doing, to the podcast. Really thankful for the iTunes fanboy for letting me come on this podcast.
And as always, we
Well,
are saying
yeah.
peace out for now, and stay tuned next
You
week.
fat?
I'll either do a makeup episode of Tide Pairs, or else I may have the Great Gamer on. So with that out of the way, as always, goodbye and peace out.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Peace out.